and welcome to another video in Power BI. Today we are going to look at Power Query and some tips that you can use at the beginning of your report creation. This is going to help you when you load the data for the first time and you want to transform the data. Sometimes you don't know how to transform the data and what fields you need to keep and what field you need to get rid of. So today we are going to look at some of the very useful tips that you can apply when you are first starting in Power BI. The first thing we are going to see is how to use split column and divide a single column into two columns or multiple columns. In our example, we have a customer named column, which has the names of the customer, which are the full names. For example, Rick Hansen, Justin Ritter. But we want to divide this column into two so that we have a first name and a last name. What we can do is just select the column and go to home screen and select split column. And by split column, you will detect by delimiter. By selecting the delimiter, a window will open asking you how do you want to split this column. And which most of the time it will detect it automatically the delimiter that is going to split by. For example, in our case, there is space after the first name and space and the second name or the last name. So what we are going to do is it has already detected it, space, and it's going to say rightmost delimiter and press OK. And this will divide our single column into two, which is going to be the first name and the last name. Let's rename this column to first name and last name. So we have our two columns that were previously a single column with the whole name. Now we have two columns that are divided into first name, last name. So let's look at another example in Power BI, which you can use at the beginning when you're transforming data in Power Query, is to assign data types at the beginning if you know what they should be. For example, as you can see, this column or the data ship date, they're assigned text type because Power Query cannot detect the exact data type they should be because there might be some errors in the data, there might be formatting issues of some kind. So what we can do is select it and select the column that we want to change the data type and right click and say change type and change type to date. As we change the type of the column, we can see that there is errors. We can do simply just right click that column again and say remove errors. This will remove the errors and sort out the data accordingly. You can do the same with the other column as well. Shift date. Again, right click, change type, select the type that you want to change to. In our example, we're going to change it to date type. And there are errors. We can do remove errors. Usually there are not many errors, but errors can occur and you can do the same by just right clicking and remove errors and it will sort out. Another thing we can do in Power Query is to remove duplicates. By removing duplicates, we can reduce the storage size and increase the efficiency of our model, which is very useful when you're creating visuals and when you are dealing with thousands and hundreds of thousands of rows. This is a very useful thing to remove duplicates. If you know, you can remove the duplicates. To remove duplicates, you just need to select the column that you want to remove it. For example, we want to remove the duplicates in the row ID because there will be many, because there are going to be many data and rows that are duplicating here that we do not need of. So we're going to select the column and click right click and say remove duplicates. This will remove the duplicates IDs that are occurring in the column. You can do the same with other tables as well. Go and select the column that you want to remove the duplicates for. You're going to select the column and say remove duplicates, and it will remove the duplicates. Another very useful tip you can do at the beginning is to remove unnecessary columns. If you know your data that you can remove the columns that are not going to be needed in the creation of our reports in any of the visuals, or to use it for calculation in TypeWise. For example, in our example in the table, we can see that we have a lot of columns that most probably we're going to use. But there is a data called posted code that we are never going to use in our report. So we can select that and right click it and say remove. What this will do is again, it will reduce the storage size and we can have a better model to create the visual so that it is a very efficient model. So thank you for watching today's video. If you learned something, please leave a like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Take care.